All right, guys, welcome back. So in our last lecture, we talked about some unique ways to motivate a creative team, but what if your workers are all remote? How can you motivate people you don't actually work with in person or see every day? Well, the first point I want to make is that many of the things that motivate teams in an office will motivate remote workers as well. It all starts with those basic needs that we mentioned a while back: clear goals, open, honest communication, no micromanaging, being treated with respect and empathy, transparency from their manager, and access to professional development and fair compensation. Virtual workers are people as well. They have the same basic needs, so virtual team managers need to make sure these are all being accounted for. Now, the challenge might come when you consider how best to communicate goals clearly to someone who's not in the same office with you. Well, that's why the most important way to keep your virtual team motivated is to maintain regular communication with them. Now, nobody's saying you have to jump into the video chat every morning and run down what each worker will be doing every day. Maybe you only need to talk to them once a week. There's definitely a balance you have to strike between staying connected with your virtual workers and giving them the space and flexibility they need and expect from a remote job. So find that balance by scheduling regular times to meet up. Find a time that's good for both of you and keep any time zone differences in mind so you're not bugging them before they've had their morning latte. Use whatever channel works best for your discussions, but I do suggest using video instead of phone or text chats because it's just much more engaging. Plus, with video, it's easier to understand tone of voice and you can reduce any misunderstandings. However you do this, meeting times that are scheduled give workers the expectation that they can have the full attention of their boss to discuss issues or solve problems. We talked a few lectures back about how to use meetings to motivate teams, and the same is true for virtual ones. Virtual team meetings can be conducted using video on platforms like GoToMeeting or Zoom. Use these meetings to discuss issues and to make plans, not just to get their status reports. That stuff can be easily shared over email. Use your valuable face-to-face time to ask questions, get clarification, and bat around ideas. Unless your team is customer support or are required to be on a computer or phone line at a specific time, virtual workers will expect flexibility. It's one of the big reasons people choose to work remotely in the first place. So, if you want to motivate your virtual workers, let them know your clear expectations about work schedules. My advice is to offer plenty of flexibility in exchange for productivity. Let them know you don't care where they do their work or how they get it done, just as long as they get it done on time. Okay, here's two more thoughts on motivating your virtual team. The first one is set up and encourage the use of a virtual discussion board or place to chat. If you provide a virtual discussion board, you can give people a space to talk through issues asynchronously, meaning they can jump in when they have time to move a discussion along. Use the boards for talking through ideas or debating choices or even for off-topic stuff. Also, it's nice for a virtual team to have a social place that they can hang out in. The second thing is to try and meet with your virtual team members in person whenever possible. As productive as virtual teams can be, there's no substitute for meeting people in person. Try to organize a monthly meetup or even an annual retreat. You'll find that getting your team together so that they can chat, hang out, train, or just have fun and is an excellent way to improve relationships, overall morale, and really get people motivated when they jump back into their virtual workspace. So these techniques should keep you from falling into that trap that dooms many virtual managers. Some of them get very paranoid about whether their team is really doing any work. Well, virtual leaders can succeed by being good communicators, trusting their team, and especially being flexible. When virtual workers are given flexibility to work, it's one of the most powerful ways to motivate them to get things done. So in the next lecture, we'll talk about those cases when a team has low morale, which is when motivation is badly needed. I'll see you then.